Fertilizer can be a dirty business, and one agriculturalist in the country knows that all too well. He's making fertilizer with human urine. It may sound unappealing, but it is transforming the lives of both farmers and urban residents. Susan Mongeli has that story.
A truck rolls across a dusty South African road, not carrying crops or machinery, but sacks of what most people flush away without a thought, the contents. Nutrient-rich liquid, once destined for waste, now being harvested, processed, and used to grow food. Farmers who could barely afford chemical fertilizers are now tending stronger plants, reminding us, sometimes the most powerful things come from what we discard. Imagine a solution that's low-cost, sustainable, fights hunger, reduces pollution, and literally comes from people. It sounds strange, but in parts of South Africa it's already happening. Treated human urine is being turned into fertilizer that rivals its chemical counterparts. How did we get to a point where urine isn't just waste, but gold for food security? And what stands in the way of scaling this up so it can help millions more? Keep watching, because by the end of this video you'll see how something we take for granted could shift the balance for entire communities. Human urine isn't just liquid waste, it's packed with what plants need: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium N, P, K. These are the same nutrients found in expensive chemical fertilizers. Scientists estimate that many of the nutrients excreted by people end up flushed and lost, but if collected, they could help grow food locally and cheaply. One project called Vuna Valorization of Urine Nutrients in Africa has been experimenting with dry sanitation systems and processes to recover these nutrients safely in eThekwini municipality. These systems separate urine at source and treat it to reduce health risks, then convert it into a usable fertilizer. Trials show that plants fertilized with nitrified urine fertilizer, that is urine that has been treated to convert ammonia into more stable forms, grow about as well as those treated with chemical fertilizers, sometimes with extra benefits like improving local soil structure or reducing pollutant runoff. But it's not just about what's possible, it's about what people believe, and belief here is changing. At the heart of scaling up this work is convincing farmers, rural and urban dwellers, that this isn't gross or dangerous, it can be safe, effective, and sustainable. Coming up, how perceptions shifted in places you wouldn't expect. You might think everyone would recoil at the idea of fertilizing their crops with treated urine, but that's not the full story. Studies in Masunduzi, KwaZulu-Natal, show many people prefer nitrified urine over raw urine. When told that urine is properly treated, safe, and effective, acceptance rises dramatically. In rural wards, acceptance is highest. Nearly 79% of people said they would accept nitrified urine fertilizer. Younger people also tend to be more open to using it or eating food grown with it. In contrast, in urban or peri-urban settings, more skepticism remains. Concerns often center around health, odor, or what others might think. Another good example, in the eThekwini municipality, rural households have urine diverting dry toilets installed, almost 80,000 of them, serving around 500,000 people. But until recently, reuse of urine remained rare. Awareness was low. Only around 10% of people knew that urine holds essential nutrients. So perception and education are big bottlenecks. But these aren't static. In the next section, how technology and policy are trying to solve safety, treatment, and scaling issues. Turning urine into safe fertilizer isn't just collecting it and pouring it on fields. It needs careful treatment. One major process is nitrification, or controlled conversion to transform unstable forms of nitrogen into safer ones. This reduces smell, pathogen risk, and makes the fertilizer more plant-friendly. Storage is also key. If urine is stored in well-sealed containers, under sunlight, for enough time, many bacteria are naturally reduced, odor fades, risk falls. In Burkina Faso, for example, a study showed that storing urine in jerry cans exposed to sunlight for 30 days removed most of the harmful bacteria. The Vuna project has also experimented with struvite precipitation and electrolysis to recover phosphorus and other nutrients efficiently, while dealing with pharmaceuticals and avoiding environmental risks. Here's the tricky part: regulations. In South Africa, current laws actually ban the use of human waste as fertilizer in many cases. Raw urine is definitely not legal for fertilized crop use. Even treated products like nitrified urine often exist in a regulatory gray area. There's also technical cost, infrastructure for separation, storage, treatment, monitoring all require investment and maintenance. But in many pilot projects, the cost per unit of fertilizer produced is much lower than chemical equivalents. The question is, can this be scaled? And will the laws change to allow safe, treated urine fertilizers to reach markets? More on that soon. In Masunduzi, when people were told about nitrified urine fertilizer and shown examples, the willingness to purchase and consume food grown with it rose significantly. In rural areas, more than 3/4 said yes. Smallholder farmers in South Africa's Eastern Cape have done trials using human urine with maize and vegetables. In tunnel houses, yields were promising. The urine provided enough nutrients to rival mineral fertilizers in many cases. Another case, people in eThekwini rural wards with UDS. While many had the toilets installed, few were using the urine as fertilizer initially. Lack of awareness, fear, stigma were large barriers. There are also broader environmental impacts: reduced nutrient pollution of waterways, lower dependence on imported chemical fertilizers, cost savings for farmers, and improved local nutrient cycling. Instead of buying fertilizer that came with transport costs, passport fees, etc., communities can use local resources. Yet, outcomes aren't uniform. In urban zones, even with treatment, some people still refuse food grown with such fertilizers. In some regulatory environments, treated urine fertilizer products can't enter formal markets, and scaling up treatment plants and community infrastructure has its hurdles. Coming up, what must change for this to become a widespread solution? One major barrier is health perception. Even when scientists show treated urine is safe, many people worry about pathogens, pharmaceuticals, or residues. Trust in the treatment process is low. People often say, if only I could see how they clean it, I might believe it. Another barrier: stigma, culture, religion. While in South Africa these factors seem less dominant than health concerns, in other countries they have a larger effect. In South Africa, religion accounted for only about 6% of objections in one study, but smell, societal disgust, or what will neighbors say, are real social pressures. Regulation is also a big obstacle. Laws banning or limiting use of human waste products in agriculture make commercialization difficult. Even if a safe product exists, getting licenses, testing, acceptable standards, and market access can be slow. Technical infrastructure: urine diverting toilet suds, separation at source, collection, storage, treatment, monitoring all need investment. For many rural or peri-urban places, infrastructure is weak, maintenance is inconsistent, and funding limited. Finally, scaling and economics. Even though treated urine fertilizer can be cheaper, there are costs: building treatment plants, ensuring quality control, distributing fertilizer, training farmers, etc. Pilots can manage with grants or research funding. Scaling to millions of people will require policy support, market incentives, perhaps subsidies or cost sharing, but none of this is impossible, and some things are already falling into place. Let's see what is being done. In response to promising data, some municipalities are piloting regulatory changes or exploring reform. VUNA, for example, is not just a research project. It's pushing for entrepreneurial models, policy changes, and local production of urine-based fertilizer products. Education and awareness campaigns are being used to shift public perception. When people see real food grown with treated urine, when they see safety testing, when they hear from other farmers with success stories, acceptance increases sharply. On the technical side, innovations continue: better treatment reactors, combining urine with other organic wastes, formulations that reduce odor or risk, drying or dehydrating urine to make transport easier. There are also movements to integrate urine fertilizer into existing policies for agriculture and sanitation, perhaps included in subsidies, certifications, or future fertilizer regulation. If governments decide that this is part of national food security strategy, then scaling becomes possible, and this leads to something even more hopeful. What could happen if treated urine fertilizer becomes widely accepted and regulated in South Africa and then replicated across the continent? What started as a fringe idea, using urine instead of chemical bags, now looks like a path towards sustainable food, improved soil, cheaper farming, and less pollution. South Africa might not yet be using urine-based fertilizers everywhere. It might not have solved every concern or hurdle, but it is leading, with experiments, with data. With changing minds, the crucial tipping points will be trust, regulation, and scale. When enough people believe it, when laws support it, when infrastructure is reliable, then the value locked in what we flush away could be harvested and feed millions. We started this journey with a strange image, a truck of fertilizer made from urine. Now think of fields, villages, markets transformed, food grown locally, soil revived, farmers empowered, waste reduced. That's not a dream, it's an opportunity already growing in South Africa. And if the rest of Africa follows, this could be one of the quietest revolutions you've ever seen, one that starts in the ground and ends in tables full of food.